Now, I want to ask you about Sarah Ferguson. Look, this is, of course, Andrew's ex-wife. She's in a world of pain over this. Now, we know from emails that she sent to Epstein that she called him the brother I have always wished for. She said, "You are a legend. I really don't have the words to describe my love, gratitude for your generosity and kindness." And then she said, "Kiss, kiss. I am at your service. Just marry me." Even her daughters, they've been dragged in, including one exchange where an unnamed person mentions Eugenie's shagging weekend in an
If are wondering where Sarah Ferguson dissapered to and what her plans are, this is what we know so far. Today, we are talking about the original royal rebel, the woman who redefined scandal before the internet even knew what a hashtag was, Sarah Ferguson. But this time, it is not just a toe-sucking incident in the south of France. This time, the Duchess is reportedly fleeing the United Kingdom under a cloud of poverty and shame, so thick you could cut it with a silver cake knife. Before we dive into why Fergie is currently scouting for gold-plated real estate in the Middle East, do me a massive favour. If you are loving the deep dives and the unfiltered truth, hit that subscribe button right now. Over 92% of you lovely people watching haven't actually subscribed yet. It is completely free, takes half a second, and it helps us keep the lights on here at UK Unfiltered. Click the bell icon so you never miss a royal meltdown. Done? Brilliant. Let's get back to the chaos.
I've kind of been saying this for a while, but I actually think she's one of the biggest issues for the royal family at the moment, because she, again, similar to Mandelson, knows a lot of information and has nothing to lose. And she's money hungry at the moment. So I think that there will be an opportunistic book deal that potentially comes into play, where she'll be offered an amount of money for a tell-all book. We know that she's sort of, she does love something like that she can live off for a little bit. She will reveal certain things. She'll try and paint herself out as the victim, but she'll definitely throw a couple people under the bus. And I think that's what'll happen to Fergie, because we know, most of Andrew's issues stemmed from Fergie's insane, lavish lifestyle that she demanded.
Now, let's set the scene. Imagine you are a duchess. You have the titles, the history, and the formerly prestigious ex-husband. But suddenly, the doors to every Mayfair club start slamming in your face. The invitations to the right country house parties have dried up faster than a puddle in a heat wave. This is the reality for Sarah Ferguson and her dear friend and ex-husband Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. The Western world has effectively cancelled the Yorks. Between the eviction from their longtime Windsor home this month and the relentless stomach-turning headlines regarding their association with the late Jeffrey Epstein, they have become the ultimate social radioactive waste. In the UK, they are viewed with a mix of pity and profound distaste. But when the West says, "get out," where does a disgraced royal go? They go where the oil flows and the questions don't. Sarah has been spotted spending a suspicious amount of time in the United Arab Emirates, UAE, and honestly, it should surprise absolutely no one. The Middle East is beginning to look like the only place left on the map where Duchess still carries more weight than disgrace. You might be wondering why the UAE. Isn't it a bit sandy? Well, Talk TV host broke it down so well.
We'll talk to Norman Baker now. He's a former government minister and author of And What Do You Do? What the Royal Family Don't Want You to Know. Norman, great to talk to you. Should there be a criminal investigation into Andrew?
Of course, there should have been one years ago, because there's been enough evidence put to the Metropolitan Police and other police forces over many years, making allegations not simply about his link to Epstein, and the allegations made by Virginia Giuffre at the time, which the Metropolitan Police did nothing about, although their policy at the time was to believe victims. They didn't believe her, it seems. But also all the evidence now tumbling out, which supports what's in my book, about the way in which Andrew conducted himself as trade envoy, where clearly he was not batting for Britain, but batting for himself.
Yes, but the sand is practically made of gold dust. And that is exactly what Sarah needs. Royal author Andrew Lowney, the man who literally wrote the book on the downfall, entitled The Rise and Fall of the House of York, believes the multi-millionaires in Dubai, Bahrain and Qatar are likely already bankrolling her. Think of it like this. In Britain, Fergie is a reminder of a scandal the monarchy wants to forget. In Dubai, she's a shiny collector's item. To the nouveau riche and the power players in the Gulf, she is still royal. They don't care about the Epstein files. They don't care about the BBC interviews that went down like a lead balloon. They see the title, they see the connection to King Charles, and they see an opportunity to have a duchess at their dinner table. Loney puts it bluntly. In Britain, neither Sarah nor Andrew will be socially accepted again, but in the Middle East, no one will care what they have got up to. It is the ultimate don't ask, don't tell policy funded by petrodollars. Let's be real, Sarah Ferguson has a lifestyle that would make a Roman emperor blush, but her bank account is famously, well, let's just say it's more empty biscuit tin than Fort Knox. She needs someone to pay for the private jets, the cordon bleu chefs, and the silk gowns. The Middle East is home to plenty of untouchable figures who have been linked to the same murky circles as the Yorks but face zero consequences in their home countries. Take Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayem, a Dubai business tycoon who popped up in the Epstein file, drops. In the UK, that's a reputation killer. In Dubai, it's barely a footnote. These are the people Sarah is reportedly linking up with. They have palaces, they have villas, and they have a spare bedroom that's larger than your entire postcode. For them, covering Fergie's airfare and bills is like us finding a pound coin down the back of the sofa. It is pocket change for them, but it is a lifeline for a Duchess who is functionally broke. If you thought Sarah was going solo, think again. This is a family affair. Andrew, the Duke of Hazes himself, has been offered a private royal villa within Abu Dhabi's ultra-exclusive Sea Palace complex. This isn't just a holiday rental, it's a fortress. It was offered by none other than President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, who, wait for it, went to school with Andrew at Gordonstown. Talk about the old boys club reaching across continents. This villa is the stuff of fever dreams. We are talking 6 bedrooms, enough for the whole entourage, a home cinema to watch old clips of better times, an indoor pool and gym, gold-plated light switches and taps. Because why use plastic when you can use bullion? The Sheikh even ordered a refurbishment after Queen Elizabeth's passing to make it youthful and playful. I suppose when you are 65 and hiding from the FBI, playful is exactly the vibe you are going for. While mom and dad are looking for a hole to hide in, their daughters seem to be paving the way. Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie have been increasingly active in the region. Eugenie was recently in Qatar for the Art Basel Fair, and Beatrice, she's basically a permanent fixture at high-level Gulf summits. In October 2025, Beatrice was spotted hosting a tea party at the Ritz-Carlton in Riyadh. Yes, the same Ritz-Carlton where the Saudi old guard were famously detained and tortured in 2017. It is a bit of a grim backdrop for Earl Grey and scones, isn't it? Critics are starting to wonder if Beatrice is quietly stepping into her father's old shoes as an unofficial UK trade envoy. Remember, Andrew was the representative for international trade and investment until his associations made him a liability. Now, Beatrice is the one collaborating, moving the needle and expanding the conversation with global energy CEOs and ministers. But what is happening to their daughters now? Why are they dragged into this?
The Epstein files are continuing to cause controversy, and according to newly released emails, Sarah Ferguson visited paedophile Jeffrey Epstein 5 days after his release from prison for child sex crimes and took her adult daughters, Beatrice and Eugenie, then aged 19 and 20, with her to his Florida home, where they were served vegetable lasagna for lunch. Prior to this, the princesses have never publicly confirmed meeting Epstein. So should Beatrice and Eugenie face the same public criticism as their mother? It's a very difficult.
The York family's obsession with the Gulf isn't new, it's a decades-old habit. Back in 2008, a 19-year-old Beatrice was taken on a 1-4-day tour of Abu Dhabi in Egypt at the taxpayer's expense. The security bill alone for the Met Police was £40,000. For what? No public engagements were performed. It was essentially a state-funded holiday disguised as grooming for a role. The diplomats on the ground weren't impressed. Stephen Day, the former UK ambassador to Qatar, once wrote a bombshell letter saying Andrew was the worst person to deploy in these countries, calling his presence crass. He even highlighted Andrew's worrying meetings with the likes of Colonel Gaddafi's inner circle. But where the British Foreign Office saw a disaster, the Yorks saw an opportunity. They have always gravitated toward regimes that value status over transparency. While the Yorks are trying to build a new kingdom in the sand, King Charles remains unmoved. The King's decision to distance the monarchy from the Yorks has been entirely vindicated with every new release of the Epstein files. He has effectively evicted them from the inner circle, leaving them to find their own way, which apparently leads directly to a private villa in Abu Dhabi. Beatrice and Eugenie were said to be aghast and devastated by the scandals surrounding their father, but they still seem comfortable navigating the circles he built. It is a bizarre balancing act, maintaining a royal image in the UK while acting as unofficial ambassadors in states that bankroll their lifestyle. So, is Sarah Ferguson actually relocating to the Gulf? It seems the writing is on the palace wall. With no money, no social standing in London, and an ex-husband who is persona non grata in the West, the bling states of the Middle East offer the only thing the Yorks have left, a chance to live like royals without the pesky burden of public accountability. What do you think? Is this a smart survival move or the final shameful chapter in the House of York's fall from grace? Drop a comment below. I want to hear your thoughts on this desert drama. But let's not mistake this desert retreat for a simple change of scenery. This isn't just about escaping the rain, it's about outrunning the law. As of February 2026, the walls aren't just closing in, they are practically vibrating. The UK's top prosecutor has recently gone on record stating that nobody is above the law, and Thames Valley Police are currently in deep dive discussions with the Crown Prosecution Service regarding allegations of misconduct in public office against Andrew. And then there's Sarah. While she's busy trying to fix it behind palace doors in the Gulf, her own history with Epstein is being dragged back into the light. Reports from the latest 2026 file drop suggest that Epstein didn't just loan her money, he allegedly plotted to use her for redemption, pressuring her to retract statements under the threat of Hannibal Lecter-style legal warfare. So, what happens if the royal shield finally shatters? For Andrew, we are looking at potential private prosecutions for misconduct and corruption. If the Met Police find enough smoke regarding his time as trade envoy, specifically those allegations of leaking sensitive info to Epstein, we aren't talking about losing a title, we are talking about a witness stand. For Sarah, her charitable empire is already crumbling. Sarah's trust shuttered its doors this month. Without her Duchess of York calling card, her ability to make honest money is zero. If the investigation into her financial ties to Epstein uncovers anything beyond bad judgment, she could face charges related to financial impropriety or worse. The Middle East might be a safe harbor for now, but even gold-plated taps can't wash away a criminal summons. If the UK or the US decide to push for formal questioning, the Sea Palace starts to look less like a holiday home and more like a very expensive cage. The Yorks are playing a high-stakes game of global hide-and-seek, but in 2026 the world is getting much smaller. Thank you for watching UK Unfiltered. If you want to stay updated on the Yorks' potential day in court, make sure you've subscribed. See you in the next one.